All right. And I'm glad you made me aware of Pacific Daylight Time. I didn't even know about that.
Well,
I
there you
didn't
go.
realize that,
Spring forward and fall back and all that.
well, I know we did that, but I didn't know there was an official term for it, that when you're trying to figure out what time it is in another part of the world. See, look, living in Australia, I'm sure you're extremely aware of time zones.
We are. We know all
Like when
about
I lived in New York, I never thought about what time it was on the West Coast. I never thought that. Why? Because New York's the center of the world. Like, let them wonder what time it is here. Okay. And then when I moved out here, that's exactly what I started doing. What am I always thinking of? What time is it back east? That's what I'm always thinking. Like, that's the real time. Okay, so.
Now you said there's 6 students. I'm only seeing 5 students plus you.
Oh, you're right. Oh, there is somebody else. Okay, see, this is why I do music instead of math. Yeah, there is somebody else. I can't think. Oh, yeah, Chris. Okay.
Okay.
But maybe he can't make it tonight. I don't know. So, you check out any of the stuff in the classroom, anybody?
Well, I had a look at it and I watched one of your students playing it very nicely. So.
Oh. Well, who was that?
I'm having trouble with your name.
Oh, Christina, you mean when she played it the other day at the, yes, she's getting that down.
Yeah, there's no name there. It's just an email address. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Christina, I got her name. I think it was Christina played that. Anyway, what we're going to start with, okay, so Chris is here. Hey, Chris. We're going to start with the section I have in the school. Let me bring that up and I'll show you. On skills, we're going to look at some of the right-hand skills that we really need.
Let's see, you have some new stuff up here, huh?
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is, as I go through, okay, let me share the screen. As I go through and show you what to do, I'm going to take the class video, the section of where I show you this, and I'll put that next to the PDF in the classroom. So you'll have a, so you don't have to search for it in the class recording. So these exercises here, you see fingers, rest stroke with thumb. Now I actually went over some of this with you, Christina, I believe.
Yep.
And what it's going to involve is we're going to take the first and the 6th string. I'll give you the close-up on this. We're going to take the 1st and 6th string first, and then we're going to take the 1st and 5th string, and then the 1st and 4th string on these exercises. They're all just on open strings. And the idea is that we want to be able to play a rest stroke with a finger at the same time we use the thumb. That's the idea. That technique is used all the time and is a great benefit in any kind of fingerstyle piece. If it's a classical thing like this, then I'm playing that rest stroke with my ring finger. I'm playing the free stroke with my thumb. Now I am following it with 2 other free strokes, and that'll come later. But there are times where I will need to be able to do a rest stroke with that finger on the 6th string, or on the 1st string as I play the 6th. There's times where I'm going to need to be able to do like that, where it's using the 5th string with the thumb, and there are times using the 4th string. When the strings are widely spaced, it's easier. So we're going to start with that. So the first thing you see in the exercises is you will place your hand into the cup position like this. Let me make it so I can see all of you. You're still seeing me, Big?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So we're going to place the hand in the cup position. Make sure you do the little stack thing like that, where the Yeah, Nance, that's where the index goes under the middle. Yeah, so the index is going to be under the middle like that, and then that's going to come up like that, right? You kind of shape them like that. Trevor, it looks to me like your index is even with your middle. Yeah, see, you actually want to be able to do this. You want to be able to put the index so it's partially covered by the middle finger.
It is actually. It might be an optical.
No, now it is. Now it is. Yes. Right. Now it is. And you want to keep it that way as you bend the fingers. And then you place them on the strings, and they'll look like this. And so the ring finger tends to be nice and extended. And that's what makes it the easiest one to do this with. Now, here's what we'll do. We'll play with the hand in this position. Christina, you should move your wrist out a little bit. That's it. Okay, now I'm just going to begin to push with this finger. I'm going to keep these fingers on the string lightly here, and I'm just going to go like this. That's it. That's right. So you want to begin that slow pressure, and what you're making sure of is that that joint right there is going to give. Joe, could you move your thumb out a little bit? That's it. We don't want the thumb disappearing in like this.
Okay.
Joe, you could probably relax your shoulder a little bit more. Yeah, I think you can let that shoulder down. Well, no, don't slouch the back, but you don't have to slouch the back. You can keep your back, like this. You just don't, you might want to even move it down a little. Okay, so we want that. Let me see that again from everybody.
Whoops.
That looks good, Jody, that looks good. And now I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to follow it with, oh, Chris must be having trouble. I'm going to follow it with, I'm going to play the A finger. That's the A finger, by the way. And then I'm going to play the thumb. Now, so I'm playing one after another at first, but then I'm going to bring them closer. Like a good way to get into it is to go like, separate them, and then bring them closer together until you're careful there, Christina. Make sure that that finger goes against that other string. That's it. That's it. Good. You can't see your ring finger that good, Joe. I'm not sure why. Maybe lean back or something a little bit, like just so the light gets onto the ring. I want to see that ring finger. Yeah, it's the lighting in your room, I guess, that I can't exactly see your ring. It's kind of in the dark. Trevor, move your thumb out a little bit. That's it. Good. So now when you do the exercise, like everything else, you'll watch these instructions, and then you will do it very slowly. There's not something we really have to build speed on, okay? We just have to be able to execute it properly. And I want you to keep the middle and index. We're not using them, but I want them lightly on the string. And then you will move the thumb to the fifth string. And you'll do it again. And then actually, that movement that you're doing right there is the starting movement of that first I put there that we're going to work on, that Krieger piece. Okay, we're going to be putting these notes down here. We're going to come over like this. We're going to get right in this position, and we're going to go. Okay, and those two fingers are going to do the free stroke. Okay, so that's the first measure of the really that we're doing. But
Jim, I have a question. So you were saying for this exercise, you do the rest stroke first and then the bass note. When I was commenting on your performance where you had the delay, it's the opposite, right? It's the bass.
No. It's really no. That's the same thing. No, what you were commenting on was oh wait, no, you're right. Yeah, it was the opposite. I was doing the bass first.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
But they're both kind of options, I guess, when you start.
Options. Yeah, it's something that I don't. It's just guitar players just tend to naturally do it. Segovia did it a lot. Like if you had two notes that play together, you'd hear them just separate. separated like that instead of struck at once. And it's a stylistic thing, like rolling a chord like that instead of hitting it. You know, we always have those choices. I can hit a chord like this, or I can hit it like this. Same thing on piano. You know, you can just beep up the keys like that. You know, it gets a certain sound. And if you do too much of it, it starts to sound hokey. Okay, but it's an important skill. Okay, so getting back to the exercise. So there you are with your ring and your thumb on the 5th string. Now, the harder one to do is going to be on the 4th string. So we really got to make sure that thumb is out. This doesn't go down. When you do it, okay, when you do it and you're going no tempo on it, what you want to do is remember to feel the fingers on the strings. Feel the fingers very lightly on the strings. And then feel the very gradual pressure. Okay, I'm going to gradually, okay, getting down to the deep awareness that we want of the body's reaction to the force the fingers are putting on. Okay, I want to feel my fingers on the strings. I want to apply the gradual pressure with that ring finger that's going to do the rest stroke. I want to feel my arm respond to that, and then finally I play it. That's the best and most correct way to practice it at no tempo. In other words, I'm telling you what you should be aware of. Christina, just don't let that wrist go down. Okay. So that's what you should be feeling. Now listen, when you practice this stuff, those exercises there, I wouldn't spend more than 3 to 5 minutes practice session. Okay. I haven't set up the Facebook page yet. I'll set up a Facebook page where you know, I will give you a few videos during the week from everybody, and you can post there, and I'll give you whatever corrections you need. Now we're going to look at the next exercise. Okay, I also have you changing the top string, I see, to the 2nd string. So you're also going to be doing these with the rest stroke happening on 2nd string. So yeah, like that. And I think I am telling you to, yeah. And after you do the ring finger, you're going to do the middle finger, and then you're going to do the index. So you're going to do the middle and the thumb like that. Now when you do the middle and the thumb, I would keep the index. You could keep it touching the 2nd or 3rd string, either one. It's going to look like that. Now the ring finger and the pinky finger, you have to try to keep them as quiet as possible. And that's why we do the gradual pressure, okay? We touch the strings and we put a slow squeeze. And as I'm putting, see, I'm squeezing slowly now with the middle finger and the thumb, and I'm keeping my ring and my pinky as relaxed as I can and extended, and then I play the notes. You see that? Middle finger on the middle finger will play. No, middle finger on the 1st string. Trevor, middle finger on the 1st string. Yeah. Thumb out more, Trevor. You need your thumb out more.
So where's our ring finger?
It's right outside. It's hanging out there. See,
Okay.
look. See, it's just hanging out.
Okay.
Yeah, look. Right. That's why it's so important to approach this in the proper stages. Feel the fingers on the string, apply the gradual pressure, feel the fingers begin to tense because of the pressure you're applying, and relax them, and keep it to a minimum, and then fire the note. That's what you want. Trevor, I need you to get your hand a little more. You're getting a little like this. Can we get a little more? Yeah, that's better. That's better. That's better. Okay, and then you'll do it with the index. Now look, when I do the index, okay, that makes my thumb and my index separate the most. they have to go like that. Okay. So you want to feel that. That's a little bit of a different feel. And now I'm going to do gradual pressure with the index. So I'm going to keep these fingers out here like this. Do a nice rest stroke here. And I keep those fingers as still as possible. Okay, good. Hey, Chris, you having problems, huh? You having problems, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's fixed now, though. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, good. Yeah, we're just going through these exercises here. Okay, so that's the first group. So you're going to do them with each finger, and you're going to do them on the different string combinations. Like I said, I would just spend, give this the week to kind of take hold in your hand. So don't sit there and practice for half an hour. Sit there and practice it for 5 minutes. Then move to the next one. Now, this skill is something we will be using all the time too. This is where we take the thumb and a finger. First we take a thumb and one finger, then we'll take the thumb and 2 fingers, then we'll take the thumb and 3 fingers and play various combinations of notes. Now what you see here is I'm going to take, and it's going to be all free stroke. And this is how to properly play 2 notes together, thumb and finger, doing it free stroke. And it's like this. So thumb's on the 6th, index is on the 3rd, and here's my action.
Can you make yourself bigger, please, Jamie?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Stop that. Okay. Am I big now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, see, now what we don't want is this. Okay, I don't want my index finger to go like that. I don't want my hand tensing like this. I want this. I want that kind of action, which is what we've worked on. Yeah, that's it, Christina. I want just that. So I'll set my hand up in this cup position with a little stack here. And so it's a free stroke. So the index is, it's going to do its free stroke. And if you need to review that little technique with putting the nail back, then you do that. But then we want, I'm going to play 2 notes. And unlike before, the finger is going to play a free stroke. So now I have this. And notice my thumb. My thumb is straight like this. Like that. I keep my wrist even. Christina, can you move you're kind of like that. Can you?
Yeah, I'm not sitting properly. Been in my chair all day.
I just want you to bring, but I want like if you just let your hand fall. More, yeah, like that, with the wrist. Yes. Now opposite, because you have a habit of doing this.
Oh yeah, I do.
That's what I'm saying. I want to keep it like that. That's good. Okay, so thumb and index playing this. And see how my index, it's still, even though I'm doing it like this, I'm kind of tucked there.
What are you doing with 2 in or with?
I'm keeping them out. I'm keeping them out as if they had to play the other strings because they soon will.
Okay, so they're near
So
their.
what you'll do is you're going to take the thumb and index in this first exercise, and you're going to go like this. You're going to play the 6th string, and then you're going to play the 5th string. Then you're going to play the 4th string, and it's all thumb and index. The index free stroke. Yep. That's it. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to include the middle finger. So now, okay, I just did this, thumb and index. Now I'm going to do thumb, index, and middle. And that's going to be like this. And this is what we do if we have to play 3 notes, 2 top notes, and a bass note like this. Now see, Christina, now you're getting like this. Your wrist is going flat. Bring that wrist up.
So my wrist going flat, is that different than this?
Yes, it is different. Yes, it is different.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Track of all the problems.
Yes, it's different than, okay, yeah, here, by wrist going flat, I mean that.
Okay.
Which is different than that other one. So maybe just, you know, either put a peace sign under it or your fist or something, you know, or
I have the little,
tennis ball.
the crutch.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that too. Okay, so we have these two fingers working like this now. And they're going to be playing on different sets of strings. You could have the two fingers up on the top strings like this and the thumb on the bottom on the six like this. See, our goal is to get those fingers. See, ultimately, you know what it feels like? It feels like, I always feel like my fingers are separate from my hand. It feels like my fingers, like I screw them in. Like this is one piece here. And
That's what it looks like when you play.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it looks like. And I'll tell, and you watch a lot of advanced players, and that's what it looks like. It looks like this is like a holder, you know. And I just screw these in, and they operate like this, you know. So we want to get that kind of set. See, so what, Christina, what's happening with you is the fingers are interfering with this. They're making this lose its form. You see,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm keep pointing out. You're vastly improved on that, but that's the thing you want to watch out for.
Okay.
Okay, so there's our, and this would be considered playing, you know, three notes. As you know, we all the time we're having to do stuff like in pieces. We're having to go like, and that's how we do it. And then after that, so you're going to do that with the different string combination that I've given you in this exercise. And then you're finally going to end up with this now, with three fingers and the thumb. And this is when we play a 4-note chord or a nice solid chord, and all the fingers go on like this, and the thumb is on here, and we all play at once. It's like a closing. Now, if you want to go a little further and include what you should do and connect the arm to the strings. See, because when advanced players are playing, as I've gone into a lot with Nancy in our lessons, it feels like, as I said, like this is separate from this, but there's another dimension to it too, where we're playing with the arm. Okay, like if I'm playing something, like here's a classical piece that uses this technique a lot. It's a Renaissance piece. Segovia used to play this in concert all the time. Back when I saw him, it was what he opened with. A little pavane that goes. So that's all chords. Those are 4-note chords. And then it goes to 3-note chords. So, when somebody's actually doing that, playing, they're involving their arm, okay? And you can experiment with this. And we'll get into this more. This is more the yoga guitar stuff. I want to throw a little bit of that in there, even in the early stages. So that when I come and I put my hand on the strings and say I'm going to play these 3 notes, that are four strings, thumb and the 3 fingers, and I'm going to play them like this, I'm putting my arm weight into it. Okay? I'm letting my thumb press into the string. I'm relaxing my shoulder. And you might even get vigorous about it. You might even squeeze. This is a good way to get the feeling. Just squeeze the strings like this with your fingers. In fact, squeeze your fingers and then move your arm around like this. Get physical. Get physical with the strings. Okay? as we're practicing, we want to run the entire gamut from the utmost sensitivity to the light touch, to getting real physical with it. Okay, I call it wrestling. I will sometimes wrestle with my guitar. I mean, I will sometimes just sit there and I'll go like this, and I'll squeeze the strings, and I'll go like this, and I'll just move my arm in different ways because I might put all my fingers on the strings and grab them and do that, and I'll do that to warm up. Okay, it feels good, and it changes the way your fingers behave on the strings. So here, before you do these exercises like this, where we're playing this one, you might want to just grab the strings like this and squeeze them. Maybe even play with some of that force. See, play with some of that. Get into the feeling of it, but also putting the arm weight into it. Okay, so when I play that piece I was showing you before, and I do this, when I play this chord, what you're not seeing is that when my thumb goes on, my shoulder relaxes. You can see the string getting pushed down, right? I do that before I play the chord, see? And then my fingers go on kind of light. So I've got the entire weight of my arm coming through my thumb here on the string, and I'm going to use that to play. And when you do that, it just feels really good. Okay, it's a good thing to do. So that's all I'm going to say about that now, because I want to now look at that piece that we're going to do. I'm going to try to start you, huh?
Can I ask a question, Jamie?
Yes.
My arm's longer than yours, and most people are playing more or less over the sound hole. If I put my arm where you want me to on the guitar, I'm right up here. Should I be adjusting my arm position to be over the sound hole?
You're over the sound hole. It looks good to me.
Okay.
You look real good right there. It's true that, look, yeah, we want to be able to be here. We want to be able to be here. Some positions are easier than others. Like sometimes I'll be playing something and I really want to be like, I want to play up here. So in order for me to get my hand up here, yeah, I've got to kind of hunch my shoulder over, and so I actually will practice doing that. Okay.
Right.
What I'll practice is being relaxed in that position. Okay. See, so the most relaxed thing is if I can rest my arm here like that, my hand will fall about like that.
Yeah, well, if I rest my arm like that, my hand falls here, you see, so.
Well, no, but you're in front of your elbow. See, if you make contact here,
yeah,
I think you can put your arm like mine and then just let it, yeah.
To do with making contact about here, you see. It's just that my arm's longer, so.
Yeah, but it's still kind of mid forearm, right?
Well, I'll tell you, look, you can make either one of these things work. Look, when we play pick style, our arm's in front of the guitar.
Yeah.
It's not getting the same type of support. People, you can learn to be relaxed and controlled in a lot of these different positions. So, just experiment with it. I would say that, musically, you want to be able to be, if you want, if I want to sound like this, if I want that sound, I need to be back here. If I want this, okay, I need to be there. Okay. The nylon string is part of playing on a nylon string is all those different tone colors you can get.
Okay,
right.
I understand. Thanks very much, Jamie.
Sure. Okay, now I just replaced the PDF for this Johann Krieger piece. The reason I replaced it was because I noticed I left out. Look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, the last measure from the end on the first line, and you see that weird symbol above the B note, the squiggly thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had left that out, and that's something that's called a mordent, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's this piece. and I'm going to instruct you in it now. So we have this, and there's that same move we just made in the exercises. That's the Mordent. Okay, I'll show you how to practice that. Okay, so let's go measure by. I mean, you have my instructions. I put an instructional video there, but I'll go through it in real time here. But actually, I want to watch everybody, you know, make an attempt to do what I'm doing. So let's look at let's play the first measure, where the notes we have down are this A and this C. We have them down with 1 and 2. Now, make sure that you don't let your fingers crowd up like this. Place your fingers with some space, a good position here, you know, as you put those. Chris, I can't see your left hand. So we want to have the space here. And these I'm just going to keep out here like this. I'm not using them yet. I just don't want them squeezing like that. See, Jody, I would get that thumb down. So you're so used to playing the blues now. That's why your thumb does that, right? Yeah. And you know, you might get away with some of it here. I don't care what you do.
I'm just glad I got my hand in the right place instead of like this.
Yeah, I know. I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home. When we're in the class, yeah, right, humor me. That'll upset me to see that, you know. But when you're by yourself, I don't care. Okay. All right. So we have them there like this, and then on this hand we have them placed like this, and so the first measure is this. Now that's the rest stroke with the movement we did before, followed by 2 free strokes. But there's another thing here. I'm gonna put my thumb right after I do this. My thumb's going on that 4th string right after I play the first note, and then it's going to be there while I play this and while I play this. My thumb is there on the 4th string. Now what you're going to do, and I don't know if any of you actually printed this out yet, but you're going to be writing the action cues. And I purposely didn't do it myself because I want you to have the experience of doing it, so you'll really get the point here. So like when you look at that first measure, okay, you see that first bass note A, or what, you know, whether, or you're not seeing it. Let me share that. You look at that first measure and you see that, not that. It's the wrong share. Yeah. Oh, you seeing it now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see the bass note A there, and then big space, 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 and then you hit the D in the next measure. In some, you know, it may seem obvious, like after you know that you should put your thumb in its next location, you might think you don't have to write it there, but I write it in for myself a lot because I find if I don't write it, I don't do it when I practice, you know. So what you want to write there, right after that first bass note, you want to write P5, right after the note, just P5. P is the thumb, and that is telling you that at that moment, so this would be on the 2nd beat of the measure, it's telling you, put your thumb, sorry, not P5, P4, P4. Put your thumb on the 4th string. That's what it means, thumb 4th string. So that movement of placing the thumb on the 4th string is included in the playing of the note. And why is this necessary? Because if you don't do it, you're going to tend to do what people always do, which is you're going to play that first measure, and you're going to totally forget about your thumb, and you're going to let it wander away and do whatever. And then you're going to get to the 2nd measure, and you're going to say, oh, shit, I got to have my thumb on the 4th string. Okay? So we are always making our moves so that the notes coming up are made as easy as possible. And there's nothing easier than already having the finger where it needs to be. Bruce Lee said, sometimes it's not how fast you move, it's how soon you get there. Okay? This is the perfect example of it. In guitar technique, that, you know, I put it this way, the best way to get there is to already be there. Okay? So I play this first note, for first measure, I place my thumb there. I play out the notes. Now I'm ready for the second measure. Now here's how you're going to do the second measure, because my thumb is already on this note. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that second finger down, because all I need now is a D and an F. I got the D covered, I got my thumb on it. And you know what? While I'm waiting here, and there's something you want to do in your slow practice, practice relaxing the shoulder weight into the thumb like this. And the best way to do that is to bounce. Bounce on the thumb and feel the shoulder in the bounce. That's right. Now you hold the 2 and you move the 1 over to the F. Yep. Now, don't play it yet. Just get the ring finger, get that A finger on the first string, feeling it. And now I'm going to begin pressure with the ring finger to be playing that F note along with the thumb D. So there's the first part. Which you shouldn't play that fast, but.
And are we doing that rest stroke thing with the?
Yeah, do you have an action cue that you write for the rest strokes? Because I wasn't.
There really isn't. Shearer made up something which I think is good, and my teacher used to do this. My first teacher would put like an arrow symbol for rest. Okay. It's not something that people generally notate because players just kind of, you know, they mix them in as they want to play. They have different approaches. One player might use rest strokes where someone else might not. There are some things that are pretty much agreed upon for rest strokes. And then there's that whole style of playing that just doesn't use rest strokes at all. I don't belong to that style. Okay. I like my rest strokes. So if you want, I think it might be a good idea for you to write it on there though.
Yeah, just so we can practice consistently.
You can make an arrow like that. Okay, here's what Shearer did. And I think it was a good idea his to have a symbol for rest and free. If you look at the end of his book, he uses this for rest, a little, you know, down pointing bracket thing. And then he uses this curved thing for free. See, the thing is, the more experience you get, you will pretty much know. But I'm talking after you've done a lot of pieces, you know. See, because to get to the point where you don't have to consciously think about these things or write them in is a matter of years, 3 to 5 years. You know, 3 to 5 years of development as a musician really moves you into, I don't know what they call, maybe intermediate, advanced, or something like that. But it does, even in a best case scenario, it takes that long because you just need to. After a while, you've seen it over and over. Like Jody, you're doing that hamburger course. Probably even at this point, you've done about 10 of those. I'll bet you've seen the same thing a couple of times.
Right. Yes, I have.
Yeah, right. And so, you know, that's how it works. So right. As time goes on, yeah, all that stuff that, you know, you can learn it very fast. Okay, so now, there's the first 2 measures. Now, the other thing to know about the second measure is, okay, I make this move with 1. Oh, so the other action cue that should be written in there it should be written in between the first and second measure would be H2. You need something to tell you to hold your second finger down.
Oh.
Okay? Because if you don't, you're not going to remember. So you write H2 above like the I finger notation there. So you know to hold your second finger, keep the heavy arm, you come over here, You play that D and the F, then you'll release it because the fingering here is going to be 2 and then 3 on that F note, and those are all thumb notes. Now, when I did the rest stroke, here's something to think about. When I did the rest stroke on the second measure, and I did this, I'm leaving that finger against the second string. See, I do the rest stroke, so it's hitting the second string. And you know, I have a notation for that. I call that a finger leave. That's as opposed to, you know, taking the finger off the string after you play it. I'm going to leave it on the string because it is used on the second string next.
What's your notation for that?
Okay, my notation for that, which is that I just put a tail. Like if it's an A finger note, I just put, I didn't do it here because the computer couldn't do it, but I'll write the.
Oh, that's in your book or somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, it's in my classical course. It's in the Yoga of Guitar too. I put a tail on it to tell me it's a finger lead. So if it's like M, I'll write M and I'll just put like, you know, big tail on it. And that tells me to do it as a finger lead. Okay. Or you could just write leave on there or whatever you want to do. But the thing is, if you do that, if you play that A finger on that, you leave it, you play this, now you're going to pivot, and this is where I would write H3, because I'm going to hold the 3. And let me show you the best way to move your hand here. Because here's what your hand's going to do. It's going to go from this position into this. Okay? So what you want to do is, you're right here. Best thing to do, take the actions in this sequence. Touch your 4th finger down to the string. Now, then I want you to do this. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to move my hand like this. I'm going to move it more like I just told Jody not to use it. I'm going to do this. See that? Now, the key here is this. I'm going and touching here because that's going to help me make this move. I'm right here like, see, I could just do this. I could just do this, but the best optimized way to do it is to let your thumb come up a little bit. Start to feel the contact in the back of your hand on the neck, inside the palm, and have the 4 down like this. And then it is very easy to have it. I now have the 3 down. I have the 4 down. Here's my 2. It's very easy for me to do this now. Okay. And see, here's the thing about the left hand. Okay. I call this lazy position, right? I will be as lazy with my left hand as I can get away with in actual playing. Okay. Meaning I'll be as comfortable and let it, touch here, touch there. But playing is different than practicing. So when I'm teaching a student, I might be a lot more, severe about it. Don't do that, because I want them to be able to be like this. But when you actually play, a lot of times it's really good to let the hand touch here. And I have a notation for that because in my music while I'm practicing, I say, okay, I must have left hand, I call that left hand contact, and I just write LHC on that spot so that I know that's how I want to do that. I want to let my hand come in and I want to feel that contact and use that to help get me into that position. So you might want to write that there. Okay, so to recap so far, we have this. And here's where I'm going to let the contact happen. I'm going to come over like this. I'm holding the other fingers. Now, this is a rest stroke. So I did a finger leave, so my finger was really against this string already. And now I'm going to play that thumb over on the low G and that D. But the tricky thing here is now, unlike before, I have the note that comes after this is on the same string that I just did the rest stroke on. Okay, so I play that rest stroke with the ring finger. And now I've got to do a free stroke on the same string, my middle. So you gotta make sure the hand positions. Trevor, you should be getting your wrist forward more. Yeah. Okay, so the action here now for just this hand is this. Look, thumbs on the 6th, rings on the 2nd. Ring does a rest stroke along with the thumb, like that. And then the middle comes, touches the 2nd string, and is gonna play a free stroke. But you know what? I'm going to also touch with my index, so I'm ready for this. So here's the action on the left, on the right hand. It's this. It's the 2nd string twice. First rest stroke, then free stroke, and then free stroke here. So you might want to just isolate that apart from, you know, putting the left hand in there. And just practice that by itself. That's right. Okay, now next. Oh, you know what? I just noticed I got a wrong finger written on the bass note there. That three on the low G. That's in the 3rd measure. That should be a 2. Yeah, very often we do use 3 there, but the reason I want to use 2 is because I want this, and now my 2nd finger is going to stay while I sneak my 3rd finger onto the C note on the 5th string. Okay. In the next measure, your 3 is going to go on the 5th string. Jody, 5th string? Yes. So I'm holding this there until I get that 3rd finger there. Then I will let it go. That gives me the continuous contact so I can keep the heavy arm. And that gives me this. So now the 4 measures are this. And then now. Okay. Now I have an open. Now, right here, I'm playing the C in the bass, and then I'm going to play the 4th string. I'm not going to release. I think I just told you this, Christina. To hold, I'm going to hold that there, even though I'm going to release the pressure, because I do want the sound to stop, because I want the bass notes to sound like this. So I want them to sound like that. Not, I don't want the C and the D ringing at the same time. But I want to keep my finger on there for contact because it's going to be here. So I'm going to do this. As I play that D, I'll just release the pressure, see, but I'm not lifting the finger. So as I play that D, that finger's still in contact. By the time I get to the E, I now have this, I really have the 2 fingers on the string. This makes it very easy for me to go into this next move. I have the 1 and 2 like this. I'm going to hold them. I'm going to get the 4 down on the F note. And then after I'm going to hold my 3. So you might want to write H3 there on that, below that 4th measure. You might want to write, I think I would, yeah, write H3.
H3.
Yeah. So it's just telling you to hold the 3rd finger. Because it's going to be there up until you do this. Well, it's going to stay there because it's on. It is the next note. But that is absolutely the most optimized way of doing those movements.
Another question on taking the action cue notes. So, like, do you have a kind of rule of thumb for what goes above the measure and below the measure? Because sometimes
No, I don't.
I have like so much crap piled up that it's.
I know. No, my music is a mess.
Okay.
It's a total mess. The only thing I do have though, and I have some movements that are so that in analyzing the best way to do them, there'd be like 6 different things I had to do, and then I had to figure out the best order to do them. And I remember when this piece with the chord change. Now chord changes are a really tricky one. Okay, which took me So it was like, okay, the first thing I realized I had to do was lift my third finger. Then I had to put it behind my fourth finger on the third string. Then I had to release my fourth finger and put it here. Then I had to move that. And it was, so there's always a right order to do these things. Now I call that an event cluster. Okay, it's a cluster of things that need to be done. And when I have that situation, I always write, I write them like a stack of things like that.
Yeah.
And the top one is the first thing I got to do.
Okay, the stack, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I stack them, you know, and I put on top the first thing I've got to do. Now, if there's only one thing, then it's not that big a deal. But sometimes, like I said, there's 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, you know. And I'll tell you, it just is a great way of wrapping your feeble little brain around some complex movements. Because after you do enough times, you know, I don't even have to think about it now. You know, it's like, yeah, it took me 30 years to figure out how to do that, but, you know, it takes me 1 second to do it. Why? Because I figured it out correctly and I taught it to my hands, you know, and now they just, after you learn something, it just goes into the nonverbal dimension and it just feels good, you know, it just feels good. So your hand does it. Okay, so here we are on this. All right, you're gonna hold everything. I would write, okay, we're on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th measure. I should have numbered these things. We're in the 5th measure. Now, after that low C, okay, which is that 3rd finger note. After you play that, your thumb should you should write on there P4, because your thumb needs to immediately go to the 4th string and be touching the 4th string as you play that high C note, middle finger plays. So at this point, my fingers in my left hand, they're all down into what really is a little F chord. Okay, this is a little F chord. If you barred, you'd have that. Okay, you're just holding the inside part, and then you're putting the C down here. So, but at this point, yeah, I want my thumb here. Now I'm going to play that C note. Okay, I want you right above here. H, wait. Oh, this is tricky. All right, see, I have 2 open strings here, right? I've got to play 2 open strings. All right, what I'm going to do, now you see how I have 3 on that note, that A note? You see that coming up?
Yep.
Okay, now notice this. In the beginning of the measure, you have 2 on that A note, okay? And at the end, I have 3. That means there's going to be a switch over. So here's what's going to happen. Here's how you're going to do that. You're in this form here, which is the inside of an F chord. You play these, as I said. You play the C, the low C. You put your thumb on the 4th string. You're going to play the high C, which is down with your 1. Now, you're going to release everything but 2, because you need those open strings. And then what you're going to do here is this. You're going to do this. Look, my 2 is down. I'm going to sneak my 3 in there. And so for a brief split second, I have 2 and 3 right there on the string, like this. And then I'm going to take the 2 off. I'm just going to have the 3. And I'm going to play that A note that the 3rd finger gets. And the reason I did that is because I want to be able to do this with my 1 and 2.
You know, that's a weird one, isn't it? I was doing, using the 3 for this note.
For which note? For which note? Wait, for which note?
So he's leaving the 2 here, and then going like.
Well, see, if I leave the 2 here, I mean, the other option is, I'll sometimes do this. I'll leave the 2 there, and I'll I'll go in with my 1 and 3 like this on the E and sharp. Okay, I could do that and then shoot the 3 out. There are other ways to do it, but this is what I would.
So let's go back to the open strings. So you have your 2 down here. You play these open strings,
Right.
And the next note is an A.
Right. So you have your 2 down. You keep your 2 down. You got the heavy arm. Your shoulders relaxed. You just take that 3. You sneak it right in front of the 2.
Okay.
And then you transfer the weight. You transfer the arm weight to the 3rd finger. So there's no disturbance in the shoulder. You see, you know, it's a good exercise for doing this kind of thing. And you know, they do this on piano all the time. Look, you'll play a key on a piano, and then you hold the key down with 1 finger, and then you'll stick another finger on there and take the first one off. Now look, on guitar we could do the same thing. Look, I could play this note. See, I could play a note and switch the finger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I guess I'm not sure like why you want the 3 there, because then the very next note on that string, all you want down is the 1, right?
Because I want the 2 on the note under the 1. It's a G sharp and an E.
Oh wait, have I been playing that wrong all along?
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's this.
Right. I don't see you switching to the 3 though, Christina.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to figure out what the notes are. But so like, if I play this, then the next thing I want is the 1 on that string and something on the E. So like, I'm not sure why.
Wait.
I'm missing something.
Let me make you big for a minute. All right, Christina. All right, you have your 2. You have your 2 down, right? Yeah. Okay. Now let me see you put your 3 down on the same string in front of the 2, and then let me see you take the 2 off. Take the 2 off. Okay. So now all your weight's on the 3, right?
Yeah.
So now you just take the 1 and 2 together, and you place them. Yeah.
Okay.
You see that? Yeah.
Here.
It works really well. Well, see, no, there you just lost contact for a sec.
Well, I was just getting back to do this.
Because you want, so the idea is you want to keep the heavy arm. And by the way, let me show you again a good exercise for doing this, which puts the right feelings in there, is put any finger down on a note and practice. I do this. Sometimes I'll do this kind of stuff to warm up. Put a finger down. Now, put the next finger down. Keep exchanging fingers. But like, I could play this note. See that? That's a great thing to do, because you keep the shoulder totally relaxed the whole time. Okay? All right. I need to show you how to do that Mordent. And so what we'll say for this week is you're going to cover this first line. Now, you've been covering it, Christina, so you should be working to, bring up the speed or whatever.
Okay. Yep.
Now, when you get to, okay, so let me finish out here. So I've done this little exchange thing. Now I'm going to hold out 1 and 2 as I reach out my 3. That top note could be a rest stroke or could be a free. But here's the tricky thing now. Okay, so now I'm at the end of that measure. I'm going to hold my 3 while I get my 4 on the D note. I'm going to make sure my thumb's on its bass string ahead of time. Now I'm going to play the D and the C. Now here's the way the Mordent works. I played, okay, I have 2 Ds here, top and a bottom. Middle finger, then the index. Now, the way this works is 1 is down, even though you see a B note, and even though if you look at the tab and it looks like 310, that's not really what happens. What really happens is play the 3, you play the 1, now you leave the 1 and you put the 2 down, and you play both those notes together. So it's really a C and an E. And then the C gets pulled off like this. After it pulls off, it hammers. It does this. And then it pulls off again. It goes da da da. It pulls, hammers, pulls. That's what it does. Okay. Now, here's the thing to know. When you do this pull, you've got to really pull it. Okay, you do not just, it's not a lift off. See, a lot of people do this. They'll play the 1, and they'll just do this with the finger. They'll just take it off like that. No good. You've got to watch my finger. See me pulling? See me pulling? I'm pulling. So you hear the snap of the note. Now, after you pull it, you got to hammer it back on. Then you got to pull it. So, I want you all to do what I had Christina do, which I think worked quite well. We need to isolate that. You're not going to, if you're new to hammers and pulls, you're not going to get it just by doing that. You need to take an exercise and put your 1 and 2 down on those same strings, strings 4, string 2. You'll play the 2 notes, and then you'll practice pulling to the open string. Now, it's actually a lot easier here. The strings okay, the strings are looser. So you're going to go down like this. So that is an example to an open string. Okay, something we do all the time. It's a pull to an open string. But you'll just make a routine. Just spend 3 minutes just going down like this. Except slower. And then you will do another routine. You come up here, and this is the hammer-on part. We're gonna practice a hammer from an open. Now here is the procedure for practicing hammers. You will play the 2 strings. So one of them will be the second finger note, will be the open. You'll play those 2, and then you will take that index finger and go like this with it. You'll bring it slowly to the string, and then you will press vigorously to the string. So, come slowly and then press vigorously, and do that 3 times. Then you will throw the hammer. And you hear the note there. And then you will move your hand down, and you'll repeat the process. You'll go from the open, you'll do the press, and you'll press it vigorously. This is to teach the finger to snap to the string. This is the same as hammering a nail. You don't just put the nail and go like that. You do this a few times because you got to teach your arm the path to the nail. So this is the way you do it. And the pressing vigorously part is because you need more strength on it. You know, it's got to be enough strength so you hear it. Right? And do that all the way down. And that's what it's supposed to sound like. Now, play it. So we pull off, hammer, pull off like this. I'll do it slow. Actually, pull off. What is it? It's pull off, hammer, and yeah, again. It's like that when it goes this. Okay, that's the exercise. Now, and that, you know, that might be the first hammer-ons. And that's a good introduction, actually, to hammer-ons. The things to look out for, hammers and pulls. When you do the pull, your other fingers will tend to, you know, get affected by sympathetic tension. So be careful. Try to keep them out. Yeah, that sounds good. So we're doing that. All right, so you do that as a separate exercise, and then work it into the piece. So you got all those right-hand exercises. We did it first. You have the first measure, first line of this piece. Your goal is to you just gotta wrap your brain around it. You know, the most you could expect in 1 week is that you can just play extremely slowly through and use all the right fingers and do it all the right way. Okay. So, unless if you're doing 3 hours on it, you might get further with it, but I'll be happy if everybody just next week is like, and just the fingers are following the right directions. And, I think like Christina's been about 3 weeks now.
Yeah, I think it was, just about 3 weeks ago.
So you got it to the point where I think you're doing 4 clicks at 60 or 2 clicks at 60?
Or I think,
well, you might as well do it for us.
depending on the day I'm doing.
All right. Let's see what happens today.
Oh, gosh.
I'm putting the spotlight on you.
Let me pull in.
No pressure.
Yeah, sure.
I just invited 20 other students to watch. I'm just gonna post this on YouTube.
Yeah. All right. I'm like Joe.
Well, what speed do you think you're at?
Everything just went out of my brain. I'm just doing it.
Calm your mind. Breathe, relax. Very nice.
Oops.
Can't take a compliment.
I forgot my. Yeah. Okay. Got to go back.
But we can see it's coming. See it's coming. You know what? I could tell. The thing I told you about the left-hand contact, that's going to help you with that little change there. You did it fine.
I just forgot what it was.
Okay. Well, I don't think I told you that before.
No. I mean, I just forgot what the next part of the music was.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah. Okay, but you almost got it together. It's getting in your fingers. Now, also, what I told you though, Christina, is you're doing all rest strokes. So you're doing, and I wouldn't necessarily do that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm not actually aware that I'm doing. I mean, it doesn't feel like rest strokes to me, but it's maybe they're too loud.
It's not how they sound; it's how they look. Okay. I'm seeing this. See, I'm saying rest with the ring, then rest with the middle, then rest with the index.
I probably need to go back to those exercises from.
Here's what it should look. Here's what it should look like.
One on the free stroke, because I never really learned that.
Okay, look, it should look like this. Now watch my middle finger. See, that's the free. That would be the rest. It doesn't. The musical texture doesn't need the rest stroke on those notes, because what we're hearing musically, we're tending to hear 3 voices here. Okay. We hear the bass note, we hear the top note, okay, and that top note, if you look at the first measure and the second measure, the top note does this. That's what the ear hears, and it's really hearing these notes as accompaniment notes. So I emphasize that. Okay, so anyway, now, but you know what? It's not like it's written in stone. There might be somebody who says, I don't want to play that all rest strokes. I like the way that sounds.
No, I think it's just a gap, right?
I'd just like you to be, I'd like you to be able to do it either way, obviously. Because like I said, people will sometimes do things differently. Sometimes I'll not be sure which way I want to do something, and I just do it one way for a while, then I do it another way until it kind of settles itself. Okay, very good. So there's our first class.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm gonna set up this Facebook group. I'll send you the link to it, and you can start posting your practicing there. And you are the elite group now. Far superior to those common people, all mushed in. With the what they used to the unwashed. The people in stage 1 and the stage 2. You're the elite group.
Hey, Jamie or Nancy, could one of you post a Wildwood flower playthrough?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go over that for you next week. Yeah. I'll try to get a video in there on that.
It's so many notes. It's hard to figure out what's the melody.
Yes.
To actually make it sound like music, so it makes it hard to learn it. It's just
I'll do a video on that.
Nancy
the melody is in the bass on that one.
Group.
Okay, right, yeah. That's that Carter style, right?
Yeah. What was that, Trevor?
I said Nancy did post Wildwood Flower on the other
Yes.
group.
Yeah, because she's worked on that for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, what speed do you have that up to, Nancy?
By myself in the middle of the night with not even a cat listening. I was doing it at 180 the other
Is
night.
that 180, 1 note per click?
Yeah, like
Oh, no, no, okay. No, because I was trying to, okay. Well, 1 note.
But I can't do that cold with people watching.
Right. I thought you meant like,
No,
see, that would be an eighth
I'm
note.
doing
I
it
think
way
you're talking about
faster,
double
way
that.
faster than that.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know what? You know, it was a big part of her moving that speed up was when we spent time on that weight transfer. We'll talk more about that. That's why I was telling you about performance, right? Because we were doing practice where, because what she's really doing when she's taking these notes, it's not just fingers. She's going like this. And when she plays these 3 notes, she's dropping her arm weight. See, she's transferring. Well, we'll talk more about this weight transfer. She's doing that. Okay, so it's not just fingers. Okay, the weight is going on, and then it's being transferred finger to finger, and that's where that fast action comes from. Okay, we'll get into that. I'll make you all as good as Nancy. Okay, I got to run.
Okay.
Great class, Jamie.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot.
All right, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yep, look forward to it.
See everybody
See ya.
next week.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
You're welcome.